Hello, it's Edith Silent Silverwolf of Love and Above, and I am here with this week's Oracle card guidance. Before I get started, I was very ill at the end of last week, and so there are not as many videos on this channel for last week than there should have been. And on top of that, today should have been the launch of my book, but there's been a hold up at the printers now and the publisher. So we're nearly there. We are so nearly there. And when I've got physical books in my hand now, I will be having I'll be announcing the book launch. So today we are doing Oracle card guidance, and today I'm using a brand new deck called Oracle of the Fairies by Karen Kay. And that I got it just at the weekend, this deck, so this is its first outing with me, so I am very excited to see what comes out. So let's have a look at Monday. So Monday is life energy. Look at your own life energy. How is it faring? Does it feel on Monday? Does it need a little bit more of an oomph? Do you need to motivate yourself, or do you just need to... You might have a completely intense week this week, and Monday may be the only rest day you have. So look at the life energy. Is it today that you need to rest? And if you need to rest, that's fine. Take it. It's not all about on a Monday, right, got to get going, got to do this, got to do that. Could be that you're starting a holiday. Look at your life energy. How is it feeling? Does it need to just chill out a bit? Whatever it is that you need your life energy to be, have a look. Take stock of how you feel in this moment. How do you feel in this moment? And how is it that you want to feel in this moment? And work towards that. That is what I can say. Let's take a look at Tuesday. And Tuesday we have got celebration. Everyone likes a good old celebration. I had a celebration last weekend, and because it was my birthday. And when I do get my book launch, I will be having a little celebration then as well. But Tuesday, tomorrow, is all going to be about celebration. It's all going to be about whatever it is that you want to celebrate. So if the opportunity is there to celebrate, this card is nudging you in that direction to use that time to celebrate. It can be anything. It doesn't need to be anything as big as, like I've just said, like my birthday, or anything like a book launch. It can be. And let's take it to something really small. Maybe you normally walk 2 miles a day. Maybe you decided, you know what, I'm going to go a little bit further today, and you end up doing 3 instead of 2. A little change. Guess what? Celebrate that. Maybe you're at the gym and you're doing push-ups and you do an extra 2. Celebrate that. Whatever it is, realistically, whatever it is, maybe you're going to celebrate that you've finally finished reading a specific book. You'll be like, oh, finally. Celebrate that. Maybe you're going to actually help celebrate with others. Children are great at this. You know, the children are just like, oh, I never managed to do this before. And you're like, oh, well done. They get so excited about it. Celebrate it. They are so great at showing you what you should be celebrating. I was in a pool with my niece last weekend because it was very sunny last weekend, and she just all we were doing was just splashing water at each other. She thought this was the greatest thing ever. In the reality of things, if you look at it or for what it was, all we were doing was sitting in a pool of water, splashing water at each other. That literally is what we did. But for some reason, this was the most exciting thing for her ever. That we got time in a pool to splash water at each other. So again, she found it so exciting, giggles everywhere, little squeals. Celebrate. That's what she was doing, celebrating, having some fun, doing something a little bit different. So, whatever it is that you're going to, the nudge is, if you're not celebrating something that you've managed to achieve yourself, celebrate with others. That's what the nudge is here. Wednesday. Let's take a look at Wednesday. And we have motivation. Wednesday is all about finding your motivation. Maybe you're hyper motivated anyway to get on with things in your life, to actually do things. Maybe this nudge is to recognize, what is it that's motivating you? Is it the fact that you have an end goal in sight? Is it the journey of actually getting to that end goal? That's an exciting thought. For some anyway. But if not, what is it that you lack? What actually motivates you? If you don't feel motivated, what is it that motivates you? Is it the journey? Is it actually hitting a target? Is it actually using your own brain and using your consciousness to be able to achieve something that's just a little bit challenging, but is not too challenging for you? Have a think. Have a real think about what motivates you. And then start doing some of that to be able to achieve what you want. There is nothing greater than hitting some of your life goals. Hitting your life goal does not happen overnight. It happens with steady habit, steady work. Excuse me, my voice is off. So there's nothing more motivating than to get on with something else, to be able to feel the feeling that you felt when you first hit a life goal. I cannot tell you how amazing and wonderful that is. So, why are you not motivated? So this is Wednesday. Why are you not motivated? What do you need to do to become motivated? Or do you even know what motivates you? Either way, Wednesday, motivation is either coming your way or you're going to have to find it. One of the two. Let's have a look at Thursday. These cards are so new that they're not really that flexible, really difficult to shuffle, which is really exciting, which means I'm going to have to break in the cards by giving them a good old shuffle. Thursday, Tree Wisdom. I love Tree Wisdom. There's a lot about at the moment about tree bathing. This book I've just written is about the forest. I've done a bit of research into forests. I cannot tell you how beautiful it is to be in a forest. I'm pretty sure you've been in a forest before, but if not, it's great. I have been on as a birthday present last year. One of my friends took me tree bathing. And I will admit, it was a cold old day. There was a little bit of rain as well, particularly on the way back to the car. But while we were actually in the forest tree bathing, it was great. Just meditating in the trees. And you don't even need to do anything formal. You can just go into your local forest, find a stump to sit on, or if not, sit on the floor. I mean, take your jacket off, sit on your jacket, particularly remember a waterproof jacket. That's always a good one. And there's something just really refreshing about being in a forest. And some of the studies as well, it shows that some of the sap that comes off of those trees in the forest actually helps the few upper layers of the epidermis on the skin. And it's beneficial for the skin as well, which is why the Japanese love their tree bathing so much and why it's moved so much over here. I've written about meditating in the forest. I've called my collection of meditations Forest Edition, because in the forest there are so many trees, but the wisdom of trees is, we're talking about tree wisdom here. I just want you to stop and think about a tree just for one moment, because nobody told a tree that it can't grow any higher. Nobody told a tree that growing as big and as proud and as tall as it is was the wrong thing to do. Nobody told the tree that you know, to have all this fruit on it and to be abundant. Nobody told it not to do that. Trees are abundant, full of fruit. They grow to where the sun is. They can provide shelter in the middle of storms. Trees are absolutely amazing. They have their own ecosystems. They even breathe. Excuse me. It looks as if they can be breathing. But they even provide, they can be ruthless. They can provide or not provide for other trees that are not getting enough nutrients through their root system. Trees, I just think are the most beautiful, beautiful thing. They have these rough barks and outer exteriors, but yet, that's for some of them. Some have smooth bark, but they have these great, big, beautiful leaves and beautiful flowers and fruits on it as well. They provide homes for other animals as well. Tree wisdom, even if you do not speak to trees or spend a lot of time with trees, they provide so much for this planet. It is unbelievable. So Thursday is all about tree wisdom. If you want to go find a tree and hug it, hug it. I hug the occasional tree that provides for me. If you do not manage to spend any time with trees on Thursday, research all about trees. Maybe you'll learn something. Right, let's look at Friday. Okay. Here we are. Oh, temptation. Friday is always one of those strange days. You've got a lot of people who will work full time and will see Friday as their time to kick back, relax, drink as much as they want, spend as much money as they want, do whatever they want. It's like having a mini holiday over from Friday night all the way through to Monday morning when they've got to go back and start work again. Other people see this as a great time for spending time with the family, spending time seeing friends that they haven't seen for a little while. Others spend the time to be able to work on themselves. I know that on a Friday evening, the last thing I do on a Friday so that I know that I'm kicking off the weekend properly is go to a HIIT class. Yes, I do a HIIT class that turns into Zumba, that turns into a tone. Well, we lift some weights. We spend 20 minutes on each section. I do that on a Friday night, and I like to kick off the weekend. I know my weekend started once I've done that. It just feels right for me, that is. But there's a temptation there not to do anything and to go off and party all weekend and perhaps not even work on yourself. A lot of people spend the time working on themselves or retreating or even sort of giving themselves a real rest day, because sometimes we need that. We do need a real rest day. And a lot of people think that going off drinking and partying, that is the way. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm going to start with, there's nothing wrong with doing that if that's what you plan to do. But there's a temptation there to let people down and to not be the person who you are. Now, it's not just about letting people down, it's about letting yourself down, mainly. Temptation of, it's Friday, let me just kick back, get home, kick back, take my shoes off, let me just chill out, let me just get a takeaway, let me just get a few drinks. And there, again, nothing wrong with that. When you if that is something you do once a month, or if you do with a friend that comes over, that's fine. But there's a temptation of not being true to you and true to yourself. Sometimes you need the time to recuperate, but other times maybe you need the time over the weekend to be able to work on exactly what you need to work on to be able to move on to the next section, next plan of your life. And there's a temptation, a real temptation there, because there is nobody looking over your shoulder saying, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You perhaps you need to be working on this. temptation to let ourselves down. There is a real temptation there. So this Friday, whatever it is you've got planned, be true to yourself. Do not be tempted sometimes to take the easy route out. If you take the easy route out for a real reason, that's fine. So for example, if something happens, I'm not telling the universe that this is what I want to happen, but if something happens to me this week, like I break my wrist or something, and I could not do my HIIT class, then yes, I have a real reason for why I'm not doing it. So that's what I mean by a real reason. But if I was to let myself down by saying, do you know what, I don't fancy it tonight, and it's not because of self-care, it's because I just can't be bothered to go, or I just don't want to do it, or I'm too tired, there are so many excuses my brain could go to for not going there. It's about, I can be so tempted not to go sometimes. So look at, if don't be tempted into taking the easy route out unless there is a real reason. Just say to the universe, do not need a broken wrist. Just telling the universe right now, I'm all good for Friday. I will go to my class. Let's have a look at Saturday. And we have, look in a book. I'm of the generation, it's going to make me sound so old now. I'm of the generation where the internet existed just as when I was a child. I remember being in primary school. I must have been about 7. The internet was just being created at that point, and I think every school in our area got one computer with access to the internet. And I remember we were taken into the school hall, we were explained what this computer was, and we were told that everybody in our class, in every class, would have the opportunity to be able to sit there and look at things on the internet. Not that we could look at anything that we wanted to, and we would be given something like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes per child or something like that. And I vividly remember having a look at, trying to find where my grandparents lived because I knew they didn't live anywhere near me. But I just wanted to see where they lived on the internet. I remember that. So, but before that, we used books. I remember when I was, even at school, we had the Encyclopedia Britannica in our house. My father is trying to get rid of an Encyclopedia Britannica, A to Z. So many books, so many books. And if we wanted to look anything up, we looked it up in the Britannica, these encyclopedias, because that's what it was. Because our first thought was not to use the internet. Now there's 10 years, I'm going to stark thing here, 10 years between me and my youngest brother. And his first thought, if something goes wrong, if he needs information, he looks up YouTube. I mean, I never even thought of that. I was in a car, this is how it was, I was in a car with him and his tyre blew out. And he's just like, I don't know how to take a tyre off, to put another tyre on. And he's just like, don't know how to do that. And he's just like, first thing he did, gets onto YouTube, uses his data on his phone, get into YouTube, just like, okay, that's how you get the tyre off. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to push the car slightly and get this tyre. I was just like, what? It was not my first thought to go and Google it or anything, or even just look at YouTube to find the video of how to do it, because that's not how I was brought up. Where with his generation, it is completely different. And when I say his generation, he's only 10 years younger than me. It's ridiculous I'm even saying those words. But in that amount of time, 10 years, technology had moved on, so our thought processes are different. So for me, looking a book, I'm just like, hey, that's my jam Saturday, I'm going to look in a book. If that's not your jam, look in a book. There's real wisdom to be found in a book. To be fair, a lot of people listen to, I'm going to show my age again, cassette tapes, which are no longer on cassettes, no longer on CDs, podcasts, Audible, people have got Kindle now or Kobo, and different platforms of reading books that are not physical books. I love a physical book. And I believe that my husband and I have discussed this recently. We're both of the generation where we can appreciate the technology and its advances, but equally we still like the physical thing. So we were talking particularly about books as well. So we enjoy holding a physical book and be able to read a physical book. I love to be able to get a highlighter out, highlight passages, etc. But equally, we know that if we go away on holiday, we'll take our Kindles with us because it's easier than to pack, like, I might want to pack about 10 books. I'll still pack maybe 3 or 4, but I'll still have my Kindle with me too. So whatever format you want to look in a book on Saturday, look in a book, there is so much wisdom to be had in books. And interesting, because I have recently wrote a book. Did I tell you that? I have recently wrote a book which is about to come out. A lot of people who write books, this is an amalgamation of 10 years plus of their life where they have studied, got all this information before they put it all together into a book. It's not that this book has been planned for 10 years to write. It's just for about 10 years of a person's life before the book is written, they just go ahead. It's like they absorb everything and they're just like, do you know what? I think I'll write a book about this. And you're getting the experience of the equivalent of 10 years of somebody's life study in one book. And you could read that book maybe in a matter of hours, maybe in a matter of days, a week, a month. You're gleaning all this information of 10 years out of somebody. That is how important a book really is. So, get information from a book on Saturday in whatever format you want to get it from. And let's look at Sunday. Sunday we have got manifestation. I love a good old manifesting session. One of my friends tells me I have to be very careful about what I say because I can manifest anything, and sometimes very, very quickly. I once thought out loud, I didn't say out loud, I once thought in my brain that I wanted to know what it felt like to have a tooth fall out because I was wanting to write about it in a book, not this book that's about to come out, but write about it in a book. And then an hour later, if that, I was eating dinner with my family and my tooth cracked and I had to get it out a couple of days later in the middle of COVID as well, which was ridiculous. They took one look at it and they were just like, yeah, we consider this an emergency. We're going to have to take your tooth out. Can you come in tomorrow? I'm like, oh, wait a minute. No, I can come in the day after, but not tomorrow. So that was hilarious. So this tooth had to come out, but that's how quick it happened for me. My friend just absolutely swears anything I try and manifest, I get really, really quickly. I have so many examples, it's ridiculous. But that one is the biggest one of what I have to remind myself regularly, which is why I said, why I said earlier, I was just telling the universe I don't want anything to happen to me so that I can't do my exercise class on Friday. So manifesting on Sunday. If you're wanting to manifest £1 million to live off of, you need to realise that it may not happen like that. Because manifesting, you still have to work for it. Just because you tell the universe that this is what you want, you still have to work towards it, or it will not happen. A lot of people make this mistake. Sometimes my best example I can give you is if you're looking for a new house, you need to leave your house and look for a new house, because if not, you're going to stay in exactly the same house that you currently are in. You cannot be, maybe you're in sports and you cannot be the best that you can be unless you actually work at it regularly. Maybe you're going to run a 5k. You cannot run a 5K. Maybe you can. Let's go really for it. Marathon. You cannot run a marathon without some sort of training. So, and equally, you cannot write a book in one day. I know that for the truth, as a fact. But what you can do is make steps towards it. Manifest what you want in your life by working towards what you want. So look at what you want in your life and go for it. Just work towards it. That is what Sunday is all about. Okay, that is it for the week. I will, if you are watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe to my channel and keep rocking your awesomeness.